So we're going to look at how to use Font Awesome, put a SVG icon onto a web page. And one of the things that just kind of came to me right now when I was firing up my system, I'm working with WebStorm, and I created a main.css and index.html. And I remember in 2015, for all intents and purposes, I had to reteach myself to code because I had an accident in my life in 2004 or 5. And that accident was that I accidentally stopped programming. My job just went another direction. And I didn't code for like a decade. And even I'd only been coding like Cold Fusion and HTML, no CSS. You know, it's just like doing HTML and Cold Fusion and styling it with like graphics and Macromedia products. Like I think it's called Fire something. Can't remember the name of it for doing graphics. It's like their version of Photoshop. So I never really had any programming background. For all intents and purposes, I only started learning to code in 2013, like learning data structures and loops. And in 2015, I had somebody over the summer, we did a web development boot camp, and I had a teacher trying to teach all of the rest of us teachers how to build web pages. And I remember struggling like to connect my CSS to my HTML and trying to remember, is it link? Is link what I use to link my CSS to HTML? And the person who was the teacher, I remember him, the feeling of like he just had absolute contempt for me. Like, how dumb can you be? You don't know how to connect CSS. Like, what are you doing? You know? And so if somebody like me can learn how to do this stuff, I have complete confidence in everybody else in the world. But I remember that feeling, 2015, like at this point right here, a teacher standing over me, and he's like, okay, so connect your CSS now to your HTML. And I'm like, is it style? And he's just standing there not helping me, and I could not, and then I got more nervous and I couldn't remember, you know, and then finally he's link, it's link. Oh, link. Okay. And okay, main. So if I can learn it, you can learn it. And I was listening to a talk today about how the brain works. And what we're doing here is we're building neural pathways. And so violinists, when they study a violinist's brain, a violinist has a larger area in their brain that's developed, which is responsible for motor function of fingers, because they have to do all this stuff with their fingers. Maybe it's that way for guitarists too. In the study, they only studied violinists. But we're building neural pathways, and it takes a while for your brain to get the new mappings about how to speak this language, how to write this code, how to play this instrument, whatever new thing you're learning. And then pretty soon, you know, it's automatic. I remember freaking out driving, like how close am I to cars, you know, and like, oh God, am I going to crash this oncoming car, getting on the freeway? Now it's like second nature, right?
Yeah. My sister tried to teach me how to drive a little bit, and I was so nervous.
Yeah. Or like the first time I joined the special forces, and then we had to enter a room, and you know I'm doing the cartwheels and running on the wall and shooting, you know, like it's hard. Now it's just like second nature, just backflipping across the room. That's the joke part. So let's get going with Font Awesome. And at Font Awesome, we say, how do we use Font Awesome? We go to get started, and then they send us an email. And then when they send us that email, we have to sign up. That's how they get our email, right? Then when we get that email, it says to do something like this, and use this script right here. And they sent me, I guess, maybe a unique code, right? And they generate that every time. I don't know how long that code lasts for, or they're just tracking me to see. And do I want that to run before or after my style sheet? I'm going to put it after and see if it doesn't work. See if the order of execution makes a difference there. And so now I have access to all Font Awesome. I could see all Font Awesome icons by going here and going to all icons, or I could choose different categories. I'm going to go to all icons, and we'll just randomly, here's how sometimes my son will pick books, and he learned this from me. Go over to the bookshelf, and then he'll go, hey Dad, tell me when to stop. I'll say stop, and he points his finger, and then we read that book, right? So you tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Okay. Carré square right. That's what we're using. I wish I could just copy that name. There it is. And we need to do it like this. Well, there's that whole thing, fa careers, but I don't want to use I because it's not italics. And the class I want on this is fa and then that one. And I want to put this inside of some kind of a container so that I could set the styling on that container. And we'll try that right here. We'll say that body, and with body we'll do a height of 100 viewport height, and display flex, and justify content. Since flex direction is row, justify content operates on the primary axes, we'll center it, and align items cross axes, we'll center it. It's no wrap, and we could do an HTML body div span and just reset. Content padding border margin, and box sizing border box. And then for our span, we'll try font size, and we'll make it 500 pixels. And we'll just do, I guess the color's black. And so let's just see if that makes it. It didn't change the size. What if this is div? Changes the size. So we needed that on the parent container, so not on this container, right? And let's try that span with color too. But color will do it there. So that's kind of interesting. So Font Awesome, super easy and super fun, and it worked right there. You know, and the next route for doing SVGs is a little bit more complicated, and I'm a little bit tempted just to show you an introduction to that, but I think you could probably watch that in the course. So this course is at greatercommons.com, and we show you how to get, it's this one right here. We show you how in that course how to get your own SVGs. And you could just copy them from here and bring them into Illustrator and then export it as an SVG and just use the code right in your own code. So you don't have to download all these. Because the size on that, like, you know, here we did download Font Awesome, and the size on that is Reveal in Finder. The size on that is get info. Does get info like get me all of the folders? No. The size on that is 1.3 megabytes, 1.4 megabytes. And so you're looking at it's 1.4 megabytes, and the average web page size I think it's 22 to 24 megabytes. I was running some numbers in my head there for a second. And so let's look at that. Average web page size. According to 2000 report is just shy of 2 megabytes. That doesn't seem right, because that was 1.4 megabytes. The average web page size up 15% 2014. And just shy of 2 megabytes per page. I thought it was like 2,200 kilobytes. I thought it was like 22 megabytes, 24 megabytes. What? Because if Font Awesome is 1.4 megabytes, right? I mean, like, how much more do you get to download? You don't get to download images or anything. Web page size. See if we got megabytes in here. 33 seconds to load, and 16.3 megabytes. I don't know where that is. Well, for people watching the online video, you could dig around for that on your own. We will take a look at this. one last one here. See, shareware version Doom takes up, today's average web page requires us to download 2.3 megabytes worth of data. Oh yeah. 1.44 megabyte floppy disks. What a trip those are.
It's a floppy disk. Nice. Do you remember the original